Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to be interviewing the only Florida team that is going to be competing in the USA National Sevens Championship in a couple of weeks. And this is Phoenix Rugby Sevens. And I have the coach here, Eyal. How you doing, Eyal?
Eyal, like Hayal without the H.
Eyal. Don't you have a nickname, man? Because that is a hard name for me to.
Think like ale, like beer. Most of the rugby players
Okay,
have no
Eyal.
problem with that one.
Oh, Eyal. Okay. I'll spell it that way next time. And Nia Smith, one of the players. How are you doing?
Doing well. Happy to be here.
Thank you for coming. I'm just trying to support the teams that are doing good stuff throughout the state, and Phoenix is one of them. So let's Il Ale Coach. I'm going to call you Coach. It's going to be easier because English is not my first language, and English is such a silly language. Give us a little bit of history of the team because you've been around for a while now.
Yeah, so we started this 10 years ago now.
10 years. Oh, my God.
Yep, 10 years.
This is the year you're going to win it then on the 10th.
I hope so.
Right?
Listen, I hope so. We've gone through about almost 200 players through the program overall. We started as kind of a club for collegiate players to have a place to play, and it slowly evolved into a high performance type of team, which is what we tried to build it into. And now we've had players coming through that have played for Jamaica, played for the USA, played for Canada. So it's been a good group of women that have come through the program.
Is this exclusively for Florida players?
No, we've opened it up to friends of Florida players as well to kind of keep it moving like that.
Okay. And what has been like your best record throughout these 10 years at the Nationals?
We finished as plate champions in 2023.
What does plate mean? Because that's a tricky word.
Fifth place out of 16 in the nation. So we finished fifth, just missing out on the finals.
Okay. And I'm gonna Nia, just tell us a little bit about your rugby history quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. Aniya Smith here. I started at Florida State about 8 years ago. Played through my graduate degree. Of course, COVID hit, so we were kind of on pause and nobody knew what was next for rugby. I ended up graduating and moving to Jacksonville, where I still live now. I've played with Jacksonville for going on my 5th year, I think. It's crazy. Time flies when you're having fun. The past couple of years, I've been voted captain, which has been such an honor. And I also play for Jamaica, their sevens and their league side as well. So both codes of rugby, they keep me busy. I have yet to join a 15s tour, but that's next on the list. So busy. And I started with Phoenix last year, my debut. And it's just been a wild ride.
So if you play with Jamaica, you must run fast, I guess.
I like to think so. Yeah.
Okay. And last and not least, here's Miss Sam Black. How are you doing, Sam?
Good. Sorry, I'm late.
That's okay. I don't know if I need to introduce you because you have done it all. But tell us quickly about your rugby history. I cannot think of anything you haven't done.
So obviously I'm playing with Phoenix for I don't know, is this my 6th year now? Gosh, it's been a long time. And I play locally for the Tampa Crew. I just got finished with the WER's first season with the TC Gemini up in Minnesota for 15s. I play on the USA Rugby League team, on the Tampa Rugby League team.
National champions, of course.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, tried all different codes.
Do you have a preferred code?
No, people ask me this a lot. I can appreciate each code like for what it is. I try not to compare like which one's better. At the end of one season, I'm always looking forward to the next one.
So you play like 12 months a year rugby, I guess, if you're doing all the codes, which is how it should be. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're doing the right thing.
Thanks.
Coach, Tell me tell us about this season's competition. How did it go? And explain to us, how do you qualify for nationals?
So to qualify for nationals, you have to be the top seeded team to get an automatic bid by winning or being the top team out of the two tournaments that are deemed qualifiers, at least in the South. For us, it was Gulf Coast Sevens and then Hotlanta Sevens.
Did you won Gulf Coast Sevens, right? I actually have here. I'm gonna put a little video here of the. This is the final, I think. No, it's not the final, but it's one of you played this team the final, right?
Yeah, that was the final, I believe, or this was the first time we played them. We ended up playing them in pool play again in the final. But yes, this is the Atlanta 2.0 team that we played. And they also made it to nationals as the bid team out of the South.
What do you think? And in terms of like throughout the competitions in the season, that's how you get ready to go to nationals. And I know this because it's a team of players from all around. You don't really get to practice, right? How does this work, and how do you get the team to function as you want?
So a lot of it comes down to our culture, building up each other to make sure we're all on the same page. We're very welcoming. We're very kind of team oriented from the word go. Everyone's there for a specific reason. You know, everyone's there to find the highest quality rugby that they can, and they all tend to come together very quickly for that. And then we tend to use the same type of structures from year to year so that we build off of each other every time. And then, you know, the competition that we have every summer is the way we build up to nationals. This year at Hotlanta, we were lucky enough to play. Unfortunately, we lost to them, but we played a team called Faith, which was made up of a lot of life players as well as some some players that had qualified on teams already. So kind of like a motley team, but with a lot of high-level players, which is the type of experience we're going to get at nationals. So it was good to get that kind of game time under our belt and have everybody have that type of experience. So we don't get kind of hit in the mouth with a high-level team from the first game at nationals.
How many players do you have on the roster, more or less, throughout this season?
Pool players, we have a total of, I think, 22 players that have played for us over the summer this year.
Because you had two teams at Atlanta, right?
We did have two teams at Atlanta. Of that, I think 17 or 18 of the women were in qualification eligibility, and then the rest were players that we added in for a social division to be able to bring in some. We brought in some high school players from the Tampa crew, which were great to have. They were awesome assets, and they were really good to just kind of include into our group, allow them to grow and have the experience around some of the players that they look up to. And then we also had some players from teams around that just wanted to have a different experience. And that's what we try to give every player, is a good experience playing rugby and having fun.
Nia, this was your first season with Phoenix, right? Or the second?
This is my second season.
Oh, second. Tell me about the team and why do you think you guys can be in the top four this is in a couple of weeks, right?
It is, yes. I mean, I
weeks.
fly out, I think, next Tuesday, so it's coming up pretty quick. This team is fantastic. I'm super excited for another shot at a national championship here. It's always so refreshing to join a team where everybody seems just as invested as I am, and everyone has such high rugby IQ. Like, it's nothing more fun than playing with smart players, right? You can play off of, and even though we don't get a chance to play with each other maybe throughout the year, right? When we come together, it seems like we find some sort of just flow that we get into. And I think that's, since one of our goals is having fun, right? What's more fun than playing good rugby? So I think we just have some great players from all around. I think we are friends off the field as well, which is great. We can just chat about it. And we have we talk books and things outside of rugby. So things like that are just awesome. And I think that kind of camaraderie shows on the field as well. So I have no doubt that we're all doing our fitness. We have our strength and conditioning, our chat that we talk in, and make sure that we're all holding ourselves accountable and each other accountable. And I mean, I think we're in it. to rock and roll, man.
Great. Coach, do you monitor their conditioning? Because I know some coaches are able to like connect devices so you know if they're running and stuff like that. Is that something you do?
So we
I
were
know
actually
I know
lucky.
Ronnie used to do that with his kids. So they had to run, I don't know, whatever they had to run, and he was, if you didn't, and if you
Well,
get it.
I'm not as hard nosed as that. I'll put it that way. We did have we were lucky enough to have a sponsor come on that's a strength and conditioning coach, and he's
Can
put
you
out
mention him?
programs.
Can you mention him?
Yeah, he's with I think it's Universal Strength and Conditioning. His name is Justin Goonan. He actually went to college with me, and he offered up to help out the women get ready for nationals. And as well as that, he also gave us a set of GPS units to track the players during game time.
Oh.
So we have had full at Hotlanta. We actually got full stats on every player. The speed that they got up to, the kind of the acceleration they did, as well as impact. So it's good for us just to monitor what they went through in a game, kind of be able to replicate it come training sessions, because we will have a few of those leading up to the nationals. And his input's been great because I let him deal with the strength and conditioning side of things.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Sam, you're muted. Okay. You were the captain at least at Hot Atlanta. I don't know. Moving forward, are you going to be the captain? You have seniority there for sure.
They didn't make selections for that yet, but there's a group of leaders on the team, and Eyal and DP are very good about trying to involve us in everything.
Okay. I wanted to ask you what do you think is the strength of the team in terms of what type of players do you have that you think can make a difference?
Yeah, I would say it's kind of what Aniya was mentioning, is we just all have pretty good culture on that team. The players come in, and while they're talented, they also have a great attitude. It's very team oriented, like Elle was saying. You don't repeat seasons with Phoenix if you can't like buy into the group mentality and the idea that like we're all working to get better. It's not just the score line. It's not about minutes. It's about building something. And Phoenix goes to nationals, every year since I've heard of them, because they have this really strong foundation that players, they seek us out. They message Elle all the time, like, I'd like the chance to play with Phoenix, and he always finds a spot if you're willing to, he is always willing to give people a shot. And the group at the end of the season is usually a group that's been super dedicated. The buy-in's there, and we're just having fun. So, and you can really play your best when you're surrounded by people who you can have fun with.
Yeah, it's always important to have fun. And let me ask you this: of course, you had this season playing with the Gemini.
Yeah.
Also, Tonya O'Neill, which is part of Phoenix, right? She
Yep.
also was in that team. How did that experience, or what can you get from that experience coming down here to the to the grassroots again? How did that experience? How is it going to help you, or what do you think you can bring to the team, having had that experience? Although it's 15s, of course, but
Sure. Yeah. Sorry if you hear my cat meowing. I can't get it to
no,
stop.
that's fine. You can bring him on. We're pet friendly, and I think Coach has a dog in the background. You can bring him on also. Also, kids. If you have any kids lying around there, you can bring them on.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. So one of the biggest things that I tried to bring down, I'd say that Christmas in July tournament was the first one, and I had only been home about a week. And one thing that I felt was really helping us was reminding everybody to up the comms. So with the Gemini, like constant chatter was really honed in on, and it was a big part of success on the field and off the field. And it's something that takes no talent. So, if people are willing to try something and just like talking while you're on the field about everything that you're doing, it helps everyone feel connected. It helps everyone be on the same page, helps us get into our structure. So that was one big thing that I felt like I should bring on. And high energy. So Eyal talks about it a lot, getting back in the game. So, once you make a tackle, your job's not over. Get on your feet. Once the ball moves to the other side of the field, where are you? Are you linking up with people? Are you talking to them about it? So I'd say those are two high level things that, on the Gemini, people did really well. And it's also very simple to implement at like a club level.
And it can really make a difference, the communication, especially in sevens where you just, every second counts and every play counts. You say the right thing to the player that has the ball where he should be going or passing or whatever. It can make all the difference.
Exactly.
Uh, Coach, this is a team where you try to get the best players basically from Florida. I guess you do run into some situations where you're trying to pull a player out of a team and the team is trying to pull them in again. How success? I mean, and let me tell you this. I think that right now with the current, I mean, situation of how women's rugby is, probably you can just get one team out of all the players in the state that could go to nationals and end up in a good position, among the first four. Uh, that's my opinion. So, how was that process in recruiting? Because everybody's coming from some other team that is also maybe playing. Tell me about that.
So
Sorry if I
a lot
put
of
you on
our
the spot.
a lot of our culture is based off of people wanting to be there. No one has to be there. We don't recruit for the most part. It's people bringing in their friends. So, for instance, Naya has a friend at Jacksonville that wants to play for Phoenix. Naya would have to be the one to bring her in, not me going to chase anybody. I'm not going to go to Fort Miami and say, I want your best players. I'm not going to go to Orlando and say, I want your best players. I want them to want to be there. I don't want to have to go and chase somebody down, because then I'm going to be chasing them down the whole summer to find out what their availability is or whatever it is. So the goal is your friend brings you in. Your friend takes onus for who you are as a player and who you are as a person. And if you mesh, we're glad to have you. Not every great player is a great person to have on your team either. Sometimes they're not great culture based. And because we don't train together and we're not consistently together all the time, if there is a problem with the culture, it very much hurts the team. So I don't try and fight with players. If players want to go play for their home team, I actually encourage it. I'm not going to beg a player to come over to Phoenix. If they want to be there, great. If not, then I wish every team the best. The better Fort Miami is, the better, Orlando is, the better Tampa is, the better they are, the better Phoenix gets too. We challenge teams, and I hope that they see that as that. And I hope that every player that comes from another team goes back to their team with something to teach their teammates too.
This season, the women have really had a very good presence in all the tournaments. Uh, I was pretty surprised because I think in one tournament they had more women than men. Can't remember which one, but that's a good sign. Um, the other question I have for you guys is, of course, this is something that you guys are like traveling a few days before nationals to.
Yep.
So that costs a lot of money. Tell me about Nia. You used to be fundraising and doing the fundraising, so you should know about what are your needs and if you want to plea for support. Right down there in the screen, I made up a simple link to go to your fundraising page if people want to go. But tell me about your needs and how's it going.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, luckily, I have a tribe that jumped in immediately and helped me cover my flight. I know all of us individually are covering our flights to get there. Like I said, I'm flying out on Tuesday, so we'll be there. I think the competition's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it is. We're there a couple days early so we can get some training in together and have some time to recover before we actually jump into it. So I know people are doing GoFundMe's. I think there's challenges about what's our combined max lifts and that sort of thing. We get kind of creative with it. So I know each individual player has their own journey. Some don't need to fundraise, some do, but I think we're really great about coming together. And I know one of my teammates was like, "How much do you need?" All right, well, I got mine covered with whatever I posted. So here's the difference to help you get there. So I think we're great in the rugby community, but I know we definitely need to raise more funds as a team to cover the team expenses, as opposed to like the individual flights. So we definitely have some leaps and bounds to cover the cost for the whole team to get there. So I know Eyal's more the numbers guy on that. I don't know what the difference is between what we raised and what we need. So he might be better able to speak on that.
Does the union support the team as it does, I think, for the 15s when they go to nationals? Coach?
They have. They have in the past. We've requested funds. I'm assuming because Carrie's also involved in the sevens program, it's probably just going to take a little bit because she's still trying to catch up to all the paperwork that she's been thrust at her just from the national board, getting everybody, qualified and everything.
I guess Sam, coming from the professional environment, thinks everything is paid for, right? You don't have to worry, huh? That was nice, I guess. Huh?
It was
that,
really
I guess,
nice.
was one of the really nice things of playing professional, that you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, no, you just you show up in the outfit they gave you to the airport, and they take care of your food. They get you there, you sleep somewhere, and then you just play rugby. So that's the dream that we've been building for decades, right? For women's rugby. And that was just the first year. So I know they're trying to build on that to have player stipends in the future. But club level, like Aniya said, it takes a tribe. Especially with the there's last minute fundraising. You don't know when you're qualified until, what was it, 2-3 weeks before. So it's kind of a time crunch. But a lot of us, we've been doing this for a while, so we understand. We just do the best that we can.
And I have never seen a team that has qualified for nationals or regionals and has not been able to fundraise. They always do somehow. So, Coach, one of the last questions. So you've had you've been doing this for 10 years. You've seen around 200 players, 10 different teams from season to season. This one that you have this year, what are your expectations going to national
Expectations
with this team?
I expect them to show up and play.
Okay, that's
how the game goes. I can't really say on that because, any day the ball can bounce a different way. The biggest thing for us is that they show up to learn, grow, and have fun. That's the biggest thing in our culture. If they show up to grow and learn, the game itself kind of takes care of itself.
Okay,
we don't really need to.
Question.
Well, I mean, I am, but I'm not. If I were to tell, I don't like to put numbers on things because, like last year we showed up and we had a tough first game. The rest of the tournament we did decently, but because we had a tough first game, it kind of set a tone for the tournament, and we ended up, I think, at 10th last year. But the year before, we had a good first game, and it again, it's all in the bounce of the ball at the tournament because we had a game where the year before where we got the plate finals, we ended up losing to the eventual champions in pool play by 2 points. So a lot of the times it's just in how the ball ends up or where the try gets scored. Some of those little things make big differences. So, and like I said, we've got some inexperience there. So I'm interested to see how they step up to the plate of the pressure of nationals, because that's not always the easiest thing for a newer player to have to face. So I think we're going to be in the top 16 in the country, and we'll figure out where it is once we get into pool play.
That's a safe bet. And I think you have a good kicker, right?
A very good kicker. Actually, a couple of them.
Good. Because, in a 1-point game, that's the difference.
Yep.
Okay. I don't know if any one of you wants to say anything else. I wish you the best. Very proud of having you guys representing Florida. I do want to say that we also had Orlando and Fort Miami competing. They just didn't make it. other years we've had 2 teams going, right?
Yes. But Orlando showed up with 3 teams to a couple of the tournaments. So
Oh,
their
no, I know,
numbers
I
are
know,
getting
no.
there. It's
That's
just a
right.
matter of, I think some of it's just the commitment level. Like when they came to Hotlanta, they came with a significantly smaller team that they had shown for the whole of Florida. So I was actually kind of surprised at how few players they brought with them to Hotlanta. But I mean, their program looks like it's slowly growing. Fort Miami didn't even show up to compete in a bunch of tournaments prior to that. So they're actually showing up to put some competition in the books too, which is great to see. I do want to give a shout out to Swift Recreation. Christina Swift owns a company now that does playgrounds, and she's given us a pretty sizable donation to help us on the way to nationals. So I wanted to thank her for that as well.
Great. Okay, ladies, gentlemen, thank you very much. Best
Thank
of
you.
luck. Sam, I'll probably see you in a few days, but we have another interview to talk about your experience at the professional level.
Sounds good.
So thank you very much.
Yep. Thanks for having
Nice.
us, Charlie.
Yes, thank
See you,
You're
you.
Charlie.
welcome. Bye-bye.
Wow.
Bye.
Yeah.
Oh, Scott.
You can
Got it.